Hello! Mabuhay! Welcome to the EED 301 Elementary Curriculum 1. This is the partial fulfillment for the requirements. Have a pleasant and happy learning with you. Welcome to the world of mathematics. John Holt says that learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of activity of learners. It is an honor to share the outcome of our group work, the group mathematics. Further, we would like to give some insight of background on our topic. The group decided on the topic from Grade 5 Mathematics, Quarter 1 of Week 1, Day 5, entitled Fraction. The following objectives are to be addressed. At the end of the discussion, the Grade 5 learners are expected to perform the following with at least 75 mastery level. First, define the terms related to the fraction, improper fraction. Recognize fraction, specifically improper fraction, and add a mixed fraction, similar and dissimilar, with and without regrowth. Moreover, its content standard where learners demonstrate an understanding of divisibility, order of operation, factors, multiple, and 4 fundamental operations involving fraction. In addition, performance is the ability to apply divisibility, order of the operation, factors, multiples, and 4 fundamental operations involving fraction in mathematical problems in real-life situation. And the learning competencies or objectives for the week are adding fraction in mixed fractions with and without regrouping, measurement or mathematics 5 rather, number sets, quarter 1, week 5, lesson 85. On create general mathematics methods drill points out in the article that drill is a classroom technique aid memorization by way of spaced repetition. Drill promote the acquisition of knowledge and skill through repeated participation. Prepared by J.B. Fogyu, San Rafael Elementary School under the umbrella of the Division of Puerto Princesa. This is the performance standard. Now the drill. As you can see, instead of the review of the previous lesson, we choose to use the drill. We choose the whole number and a simple fraction because we want to test how learners already know about fraction. And this fraction is the core instrument in discussing our lesson, which is adding similar and similar fraction. A drill is a useful technique to introduce new lesson, familiarize learners with new concept, concrete example as flashcard and quizzes. In the real-life situation, this number will be done through flashcard. Second technique we will use is reading on the website of www.northdanglieducation.com. They argue that child reading skills are vital to their success in schools as they will allow them to access the breadth of curriculum and improvement their communication and language skills. In addition, reading can be fun and open door to all kinds of new words for them. Also, we impose explicit instruction. On Green 2022, explicit instruction is a way to teach in a direct, structured way. When teachers use explicit instruction, they make lesson crystal clear. They show kids how to start and succeed on the task. They also give plenty of feedback and chances practices. So, establishing a purpose of the lesson is motivation was created in choose, which the learners awaken their skill. We choose to use ours or the clock and the notebook since the periodic test is now approaching. So the question are, what do you usually do your notes before the exam? How many hours you are spent studying your lesson? Third, do you know we can represent time in fraction? And last, we incorporate the what I know in KWL strategy. What have you already know about fraction? Adding fraction. Since the lesson is on day 5, we already assume and we already taught the lesson on the day 1 to day 4 about adding simple similar fraction and adding simple dissimilar fraction, and they already know a proper fraction. So this time we will proceed to the new lesson. We are now already checking how far and how learners already learned the previous lesson, and this will be continued by the next teacher to discuss how presentation relate to motivation. Once again, a pleasant day.
Next is presenting examples, stances of the new lesson. In this part, the teacher will ask the students to read and examine the time spent by Nina in preparing for her test. But before the students read the praise, the teacher will show questions based on the reading. It is important to show or throw the questions first to the students before reading the text. Why? Asking questions before reading helps students access and use their prior knowledge as they construct meaning from a text. Another is reading fosters active engagement with the text, and questioning after reading can be used to check for comprehension and encourage the transfer and application of knowledge. As we can see, we integrate the KWL chart. This is an effective way to read with purpose. It also allows the teacher to find out the student's prior knowledge on a particular topic. From this knowledge, the teacher is then able to gear their lessons based on this information. As you can observe, we also apply the research-based way of questioning. In discussing new concepts and practicing new skills, number 1, KWL is now presented to the students. The teacher will explain briefly what KWL is and what is the purpose of this. Under what I want to know, or W, the teacher is already posted sample questions as a sample guide for the learners to formulate their learning. It follows the guided questions and applies explicit instruction. As mentioned a while ago, explicit instruction is a way to teach in a direct, structured way. When teachers use explicit instruction, they make lesson crystal clear. Also, research shows that using question in instruction is more effective than without. However, not all questions are the same. Further, explicit instruction includes modeling, guided practice, and independent practice. Just look at the questions. The answers tells directly to the question. Especially, questions and answer will always jive with the objectives of the lesson. In this part, the teacher emphasizes the use of with and without regrouping in discussing the topic. There are two kinds or two sides of the chart, the left and the right sides. The left side is about which regrouping and the right side is without regrouping. We use this adding mixed decimal fraction and for adding mixed similar fraction. As we all know, regrouping is arranging numbers when adding or subtracting, like fractions or similar fractions. These are fractions with matching denominators, while unlike fraction, decimal fractions are with non-matching denominators. As we observe in this chart, there are different ways of computing and adding of mixed dissimilar fractions, with or without regrouping in adding mixed similar fraction, with or without regrouping. In this kind of method, right steps are strictly observed for you to get the answer. We consider using the chart in discussing new concepts and practicing new skills because they can condense large amounts of information into easy to understand formats that clearly and effectively communicate important points. Moreover, it can enable students to see ideas visually laid out in an organized way. While in discussing new concepts and practicing new skills number 2, we decided to anchor it in CRA 1, Objective 4 of RPMS tools for school year 2020-2021. Use effective verbal and non-verbal classroom communication strategies to support learning understanding, participation, engagement, and achievement. It is important to engage all students in every part of the lesson. Furthermore, this part of the lesson addresses the CRA 2 Objective 7 of the same RPMS tools, maintain learning environments that nurture and inspire learners to participate, cooperate, and collaborate in continued learning. As we can see, example 1 is about showing their faces if they agree or disagree about a statement. They just show it through their happy and sad face. Example 2 is through their thumbs. They just do the thumbs up or thumbs down if the numbers are improper or proper fractions. The last example is by adding the similar and decimal mixed numbers using with or without regrouping through writing it. As we could see, this activity could help the teachers to analyze his or her class individually if they understood the lesson presented to them prior to this activity.
Good day, everyone. I am JB Fogio, a teacher too from San Rafael Elementary School, Division of Puerto Princesa City, to discuss the jigsaw approach. Elliot Aronson developed the jigsaw for teaching in 1971, and Robert Slavin advanced in assessment practices in 1986. Aronson created this method to help students overcome learning gaps in recently desegregated schools in teaching method. Hans M. 2016 stayed and studied on the method of teaching. That jigsaw is a collection of various pieces that come together to make a complete picture. Pupils will fully develop the skills for completing the idea. The researcher specified that this type of cooperative learning strategy allows individual or small groups to become responsible for a subcategory of a wider topic. After researching and developing their idea, each individual or small group is responsible for teaching it to the rest of the group of class. Moreover, the benefits of this approach are: first, pupils who take ownership of their learning will better understand the materials. Second, active learner directly engage in information and better understand the context. Third, group collaboration exists within the group, which everyone has a chance to contribute to the group. Fourth, it develops self-motivation strategy. Fifth, pupils who work together learn to ask and clarify their understanding and provide critical feedback in appropriate manners. And last, it is effective procedures, academic gains in problem solving and analyzing vital cognitive skills. Now, here is the example of a jigsaw activity in teaching mathematics. This activity can be found in our lesson plan and developing mastery. The jigsaw will start by the teacher giving an instruction. For example, today we are going to have an activity. I will group you into 5. Here are the criteria for reporting. The criteria are mastery of the topic, fluency of delivery, content of the topic, articulation in language use, collaboration. The point system are 3 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. For example, in articulation and language use, correct medium of instruction used in the subject. 2. Inconsistent use of the medium of instruction. And 1 is using vernacular all throughout the presentation. Since the subject is mathematics in grade 5, the medium of instruction is English. Then if we follow the instruction how the jigsaw should be executed. First, each group should think of a name related to the fraction for identification. Example, simple, mix, and similar. Then you are given 4 minutes to brainstorm. After 4 minutes, proceed to your new group based on the shape attached to the back of your guided question. Example, the name of the shape are square, heart, circle, and rectangle. You are given 6 minutes to share with your co-experts on your chosen field of interest to brainstorm. Next, you should return to your original group for final brainstorming. This time, we are expecting that the learners, after they will go with their co-expert, the moment they will return to their original group, they are already expert. And for the additional, to make the lesson lively, I added an instruction that they should create a yell before they will do a reporting. This will call the attention of the teacher that the group are already done their part and they are ready for their task to do their reporting. Now, in the jigsaw, it was created into 5 groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, and Group 5. This time, the group will have a name: simple, mixed, and similar. For example, the Group 1. The Group 1, which is comprises by 5 learners, which are the 5 learners belong to 5 shapes. They are given the 5 concentration of the topic, which exactly divided 1 for each one learner. Example, if 1 goes to defining an improper fraction, this goes to the circle, so on and so forth. This should be applied also to Group 2, Group 3, Group 4, and Group 5. This aim on the original group. After this, they will brainstorm on the specific question they choose. After the 4 minutes, now they are ready for their new group are. These are the name of the group: square, circle, heart, star, and rectangle. This can be found at the back of the guided question that already been prepared by the teacher prior of the activity. Example, the square should only focus on defining an important. Therefore, there are 5 groups. In each group, there are 1 learner that belong to the square, and those square focus only on defining on the improper fraction, while circle is recognizing, heart is adding mixed similar fraction with regrouping, star is focused on adding mixed similar fraction without regrouping, and last, rectangle is focused on adding mixed dissimilar fraction with grouping. This time, all the experts from each group will be formed into one group and will do brainstorming, sharing of their ideas as an expert. And after the task, they will return to their original group for final brainstorming. Those learners who have no expertise from their previous group, after they got to their new group, the moment they return to their original group, they are already expert by their specific area. What is how this square group can generate the idea of being expert? Of course, the teacher prepared the activity and also the guided question that help the learners become expert on their specific task. Example, square group, which focus on the definition of improper fraction. The teacher presented a research-based instruction which focus on definition. There are 3 authors, and from the 3 authors, the learner focused on the definition of improper fraction, which has 3 guided questions. The first question is, how is the author want to define improper fraction? How is the definition of author want to relate the authors 2 and 3? And last, in your own understanding, how you define improper fraction. As you can see, the square group focused on the objective 1 of our lesson for the day, which is the lower of Bloom's taxonomy belong to remembering, defining. Then, also, on the circle group, they were focused on recognizing. This time, it is a wheel of numbers with also a guided question. This time also focus on remembering as the recognizing. The recognizing in the defining is the prerequisite on attaining the goal of adding similar and dissimilar mixed fraction with and without regrouping. So on the third, the star, they will already focus on adding similar fraction, specifically rather, a mixed similar fraction on regrouping, while the other one is without regrouping, and the last one focus on the similar mixed fraction with regrouping. After that, they will report and they will be graded individually by a teacher if they already master the skills. And for their group, they will grade based on the overall score which was received by the individual learners on their original group. Now let's proceed to the next topic. It's about application of the learning. In addition, the application of learning focuses on how a learner acquires the skills and content of the lesson. It provides activities that help learners apply their skills to a new situation and connect them to their own lives. Choose an activity that learners can relate to their daily lives. So as a teacher, we should focus on the daily situation, how the learners best can relate. It anchors to the goal of curriculum, which will develop a holistic individual possessing the 21st century skills. Furthermore, the activity is contextualized and indigenized, made and set specifically where the learners geographical located, which will hit the goal of mathematics to develop critical and problem solver. Now, this is the example of an activity in application. Letter G, finding practical application of the skills. As a teacher, rather, I presented a materials, sugar, water, and a flour. The learners would think what they would possible to be do with such materials or ingredients. Then, the problem is presented in a short problem manner because you are developing a critical and problem solver. Also, to develop a literate and numerate learners. So the problem is, Margie is baking a pancake, which is a sweet pancake. She plans to use 5 2/4 cups of flour, 2 1/4 cups of water, and 1 1/6 cups of sugar. How many cups of flour and sugar if she mixes them all? If water and sugar. Of course, some of the learners want to mix flour and sugar. In their science, it is solid to solid, while some wants to mix solid to liquid. Example, water and sugar. Okay, that simple application will hit the goal of curriculum and also develop the reading and comprehension skills. Okay, thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Maria Amy V. Remo, Teacher 1 of Concepcion Elementary School, Pignaya Annex, SDO Puerto Princesa City. My task to discuss is all about making generalization and abstraction about the lesson. The writers come up with generalizations based on what they have learned from the presentations. and apply the principle of art questioning from lower to higher order thinking skills, or vice versa. These are the concrete examples. What have you learned today? What is an improper fraction? How do you add mixed similar fractions? And in adding mixed dissimilar fractions, what are the two processes? So these are examples of how we come up generalizations. It is important because it increases the likelihood that the learner will be successful at completing a task independently and not have to rely on the assistance of a certain teacher or materials only found in one teaching setting. This also helps the teacher to know that if the learners acquire the needed skills, the importance of the generalization of skills is often overlooked. Next is in evaluating learning. We come up assessment that is aligned with the objectives. The first objectives were the focus of define the terms related to the functions. The second one is recognize fractions. And the third one, add mixed fractions, similar and dissimilar, with and without regrouping. That's why we create an assessment that is connected to what we have discussed based on our presentations. These are the examples of evaluating learning that we have come up. The first one, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are our evaluating assessment that we come up. And the last one, additional activities for application or remediation. In remediation, the focus on the learners who have not attained 75% mastery level. Therefore, the content of questions is more simple, which ensures every learner masters the lesson. So, our objective is to meet at least 75 proficiency level, so we come up 2 questions that would address the learner's difficulty in understanding the lessons. And so with this, the learner would have the chance to understand the lesson to them to fully understood the lesson. So these are the remediation activity that we have come up. The directions is read and understand each statement, write fact when it is true, and bluff if otherwise. So that's all for our remediation. Thank you.